Peter Gray from Cinefied. Hello, David. Hello, Brian.
Hey,
Hi.
Peter.
Congratulations on the film. First of all, as a gay man, I was like, I was watching Dom and Cole being like, I can see myself doing all of the things that they do. So I was like, because I understand that this is like originated from a sort of a real life incident, so to speak. And like, were there any, I guess, relationship tropes or like couple behavior, whether it was personal or observed, that you like really wanted to exaggerate through like that horror comedy lens?
I think that the great part about writing a movie that's sort of based on your stuff with your partner is that you get to make fun of each other while you're writing it in a really fun way that was useful. And so that was a real joy.
We write each other very well.
Do you find that like when you're, I guess, like storyboarding everything, do you find like the more suspenseful suspenseful situations, like do they differ from when you're doing like comedy beats, or do you find that one sort of just naturally informs the other?
I think as long as the character's experience sort of feels rooted in something, it doesn't really matter what they're doing, as long as you sort of are playing them to the height of their intelligence, or in this case, like to the height of their madness. So yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun.
And obviously, like we'll say like the death at the center of the film is like this very, absurd incident. Like how did you land on that as like your turning point? And I guess like how much fun did you have building on like the spiral of consequences from there?
I mean, I think that that's what like a pleasure in writing with each other is that like we're not nervous about bouncing ideas, and we typically write from a first act with an understanding of where we want it to end, but never like we don't really storyboard and beat out the entire movie. And so we go, where can we go? Where is the craziest place we can go? And then work our way out of it. Because sometimes I feel like that could be the end of the movie, right? And it's like, why can't you go past the end of the movie and then get them out of that? And that's sort of where we like to play from.
Did you find that, as you were writing it, did you find that like comedy was taking over, horror was taking over, or did you always sort of find that like it had to be these two genres that the way to tell the story?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're sort of basically silly people who sort of set out to write a horror movie, but then just lots of jokes kind of happened, and we just sort of edit them out. It's just like, yeah, that makes sense.
And I guess if you had to, if you had to like elevator pitch this to someone and they only watched like Hallmark movies or they only watched Hereditary, do you sort of feel like you'd be able to sell it still?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
A rom com about what lengths you would go to have a kid.
Yeah.
I did like that sort of line at the beginning of the movie when Nick is like, when he says, like how far would you do anything for your child, and he sort of says, oh, it sounds so sinister, and then you sort of get that nice, at the end where it's like, well, we kind of did do anything. It was very nice. And I just want to quickly ask, like, where did, like, was Nick Kroll and Andrew Reynolds, were they all sort of like people you envisioned? Because it's one of those things where they just feel so, like, Dom and Cole feel so lived in through them.
Yeah. I mean, when we wrote the movie, we wrote it during the pandemic. So we didn't even realize, like, are we going to be able to make this, or what's going to happen to our business after this? And then when we actually, the ball got rolling on the movie, when we thought of like who would be a perfect pair, Andrew came to us first. And then we had heard Nick on a podcast talking about his experience of having his son, and being like kind of overwhelmed by it. And we're like, oh, he'll get it. And the two of them are really great friends. And yeah, it's just a total dream working with both of them. Total dream.
Would never do it again.
No, I mean, I just love like seeing queer characters being treated just like written the same as everybody else. Now I feel like we're really starting to see films just go, they do all the kind of stupid shit that straight people do, so let's just like let them
Crazy
have
that we
their own
have to
movie.
say
So
that.
I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thanks,
saying
Peter.
that. I really appreciate it.